For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Honest. President Joe Biden with Britain's new Prime Minister Keir Starmer at the White House today, the first visit since the Labour Party won power in the United Kingdom after more than a decade of Conservative rule. Among the topics the two will discuss are Ukraine's push to ease restrictions on the use of weapons from the U.S. and Britain to strike deeper into Russian soil. There are signs the White House might shift its policy in response. Speaking to media Thursday, Russia's President Vladimir Putin warned against such a move. His comments translated by Al Jazeera.
It's not about whether to allow the Ukrainian regime to strike Russia with these weapons or not. It's about deciding whether NATO countries are directly involved in the conflict or not. If this decision is made, it will mean nothing less than a direct involvement of NATO countries, the US, and the European countries in the war in Ukraine. It will change the nature of the conflict. It will mean that the NATO, US, and European countries are at war with Russia.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump is refusing to attend a second debate with Vice President Kamala Harris after she chastised him on the first debate, called him a disgrace for trying to overturn his 2020 election loss, and warned of a second Trump presidency, and where Trump repeated xenophobic conspiracy theories that immigrants are eating people's pets in Springfield, Ohio. On the campaign trail Wednesday in the border swing state of Tucson, Arizona, Trump continued that fear-mongering rhetoric.
And illegal Haitians, and he came in, illegal Haitian migrants taking over a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Can you imagine you have this small little community, all of a sudden you have 20,000 illegals in your community. Nobody knows where they come from. I'm angry about young American girls being raped and sodomized and murdered by savage criminal aliens.
Trump is facing pushback from some in his own party over his statements, Farah Siddiqui reports.
Donald Trump's statement during the debate that Haitian immigrants are eating pets in Springfield, Ohio, is drawing a stiff rebuke from the state's Republican governor. Mike DeWine is repeating what others have said, that there is no truth to the claim.
This is something that came up on the internet, and the internet can be quite crazy sometimes. And look, the Mayor Rue of Springfield says, no, there's no truth in that. They have no evidence of that at all.
Thursday morning, officials closed Springfield City Hall in response to an emailed bomb threat. The FBI is investigating threats made to multiple buildings, although it is not clear what the exact connection to Trump's remarks about the Haitians is. I'm Farah Siddiqui for Pacifica Network and Public News Service.
Vice President Kamala Harris rallied in North Carolina Thursday and promoted her vision for a future U.S.
Ours is a fight for the future, and it is a fight for freedom. Like the fundamental freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do.
She campaigns in the swing state of Pennsylvania today. Trump campaigns in Las Vegas and Los Angeles. The Nebraska Supreme Court has ruled competing abortion measures to expand or limit abortion rights can appear on the November ballot. The High Court's ruling today came after it heard arguments in 3 lawsuits that sought to keep one or both of the state's competing abortion initiatives off the ballot. One would enshrine in the state constitution the right to have an abortion until viability or later to protect the health of the pregnant woman. The other would write into the Constitution Nebraska's current 12-week abortion ban, which includes exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the pregnant woman. In North Dakota, a state judge struck down the state's abortion ban, saying the state constitution creates a fundamental right to access abortion before a fetus is viable. More than 50 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza in the last 24 hours, 16 of them today in an Israeli airstrike, including 5 members of the same family in the Al-Mawasi camp, according to reports from Al Jazeera. At the same camp, Israeli airstrikes killed at least 19 people sheltering in a supposed safe zone earlier this week. The United Nations has condemned that strike. Meanwhile, Chile has appealed to the International Court of Justice to join South Africa's claims Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza. The father of the Turkish-American activist killed by an Israeli sniper in the occupied West Bank is calling on the U.S. to also investigate her killing after Turkey announced its own investigation. His comments translated by Al Jazeera.
I learned that our state is not letting go of this arbitrary murder by opening an investigation. I was very pleased. I hope and expect the same from the United States. She could have lived a comfortable life, but she pursued her ideals. She left everything and went to the Middle East hell. She was that much of an idealist.
Funeral services are being held in Turkey, where 26-year-old Esenir Ezgi Egi's body has arrived for burial. She was killed after attending a protest against Israeli settlements in the West Bank, which are illegal under international law. 33,000 Boeing aircraft assembly workers have walked off the job at Boeing factories in Washington state mostly, and elsewhere after union members voted overwhelmingly to reject a tentative contract that would have increased wages by 25% over 4 years. John Holden, union leader with local International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, announced the strike.
This will be an unfair labor practice strike, as there were many violations of the law while on the shop floor. We had discriminatory conduct, we had coercive questioning, we had unlawful surveillance, and we had unlawful promise of benefits. So Boeing has to stop breaking the law, has to bargain in good faith.
John Holden. A group of bicameral Democrats have introduced legislation to create a Polluters Pay Fund. Zenikbal has more.
The Polluter Pays Climate Fund Act seeks to hold accountable the biggest domestic fossil fuel companies, as well as any foreign-owned energy companies doing business in the United States. Under the plan, these companies would pay into a $1 trillion climate fund. The fees would only apply to companies responsible for at least 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide emissions between the years 2000 and 2022. Policymakers say one way to help build support for the bill is to cite precedent for past cleanup efforts, such as the Superfund program. That program required corporations to clean up their toxic waste or to pay a fee so that the Environmental Protection Agency could do it for them. I'm Zenik Ball.
And I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.